What is up? Kevin Hale representing Shooting from the Lip. It is Monday night, July 4th, 2016. A recorded version of this show as Russ and I are taking the night off. We hope everyone had a great 4th, a safe, fun, happy holiday, and a nice weekend, a long weekend as well. So what I like to do tonight, I thought I'd share an archived show, one that I did last May 2015. It was with guest Christina McQueen. She is a Louisville, Kentucky resident. She's a Kentucky native. She was on Discovery's Naked and Afraid, where she did complete the 21-day challenge and was quite the survivalist. We had a fun, very over-the-top interview. It's one of my favorites. It was good stuff. So I thought I'd share that with you guys tonight as we're taking the night off. We will be back on Wednesday night, Greg Unthank and I, with Shooting Stars. Tiffany and I will be on Friday night with the KT and Earthly show, and Russ and I will be back next Monday, July 11th, rebranded the Monday night theme, taking a tongue-in-cheek spin on the Shooting from the Lip name. Monday nights from July 11th on will be known as Lip Service with Russ and Kevin. Stay tuned for that. We've got a great show lined up for the 11th. But without further ado, I'm going to let you guys check out the archive version with Christina McQueen. She was a successful contestant, survivalist on Discovery's Naked and Afraid. Enjoy. All right, my guest tonight, Christina McQueen, survivalist, Naked and Afraid. I'm going to share a quick story on how you and I have crossed paths.
Yes.
It was a Sunday, and I'm flipping channels, and I come across, it was late afternoon, I come across Naked and Afraid on Discovery. Was familiar with the show, but I really never watched it. I started watching it, and it just interested me. And as the episodes kept continuing, finally they previewed the new episode of the night, which is your episode. So when I saw that someone from Louisville, Kentucky is going to be on the show, I was like, oh, hell yeah, I gotta definitely check this out. So that's how, by luck, I found you that night and watched the show, and you made quite an impression. You were, I could tell that personality, your attitude, definitely was something that I had to take in for the show. So from me to you, congratulations on being on the show. Congratulations on succeeding with the 21 days. So, but
yeah, thank you very much.
Tell us about you.
Okay, about me is I grew up in eastern Kentucky, and I grew up extremely poor. We didn't have electricity. We didn't have running water. I had an outhouse for many, many years, and I grew up barefooted, running around, just very, very poor. So we were survivalists. I was always like, my dad was hunting for food, and that's how we ate. There was many nights I didn't know if we were going to have dinner or not because, it's like, is Dad bringing, food home from the, if he's in the woods and he comes out and he has like 4 rabbits, I'm like, yes, we're having dinner tonight. I grew up fishing, hunting, and I was a survivalist for many, many years. And until I was like 16 or 17, we finally got electricity and running water. So I had an outhouse for so many years. I didn't have friends over.
Are you serious? Wait a minute, you're serious?
Yeah, I actually lived in a one-room house. I remember when I was like 10 or 11 years old, we were in like this one-room home. We had a bed and a dresser, and that's it. It was just like this one room. It was very, 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 very small, and that's all we had in there. And we had no electricity, and my dad had purchased a TV. It was like a 9-inch black and white TV, and I have no idea why that we had it. I remember I was like 10 or 11. He pulled his car up to this one-room home that we were living in, and our outhouse was like right next to it. And he pulled it up, this car, and he plugged in the TV with, I guess it was like, I don't know, the adapter that you like charge batteries with or whatever. He hooked it up to his battery, he hooked the TV up, and I got to watch cartoons for like an hour. And I thought that was like best thing ever in my whole entire life.
Wow.
I thought that was the coolest thing. I was like, wow, I get to watch cartoons, and it was in black and white, but it was the coolest thing ever. It was like Tom and Jerry. It It was awesome. But that's how I grew up. So when I see it, because I don't watch much TV, but when I don't know, it's like I went to my parents one weekend last year, and I was four-wheeling, got drunk as shit. It was awesome, and I was hungover. I came back to Louisville, and I turned the TV on. It was, Discovery Channel, Naked and Afraid, and I was like, man, I can do that. That's no problem. And I filled out the application. Of course, I have zero filter. And they called me the next day, and they're like, "Hey, Christina, what's up?" And I was like, "Hey," and I talked to the producers for 2 hours, and they're like, "Yeah, you're flying to LA like tomorrow." So that's how I got on the show.
Were you surprised that you did this online and then you get the call the next day? Really, it was that quick?
It was that quick. It was like literally I signed up for it on that Sunday, and I even posted on Facebook. I was like, "Hey," I just signed up for Naked and Afraid, because blah, blah, I don't even know what that is, but it's a survivor thing. I could totally do it. And the next day they called me. They spoke with me for 2 hours. I told them my childhood, of course, my stories, they were just dying. They were rolling because I have many, many funny stories of my childhood. And then the next, and they were just like, "Yeah, you're so coming to LA." So I had to go to LA. And I had to do all these tests. I had to do, blood work and EKG and, psychology, like a psychiatrist. He, was making sure I wasn't crazy, so I went and killed my partner. and then all this stuff. And they're like, "Okay, and then, seriously, I came home. I flew home, and in 2 weeks they called me and said, "You're flying out in October." It literally, and usually they don't do it that quick. Usually it takes, because I know a lot of people that have been on the show. It takes them, 7 to 12 months before they even know if they're on the show or not. And they called me within 3 weeks.
Wow. They called you back in 3 weeks.
Well, no, they called me within a week and said, "Hey, you're flying out in October." And this was September when I flew back. So they called me and they said, "Hey, you're leaving in October." And I'm like, "Oh, I got 4 weeks to tell my job I'm leaving." And, okay, all right, I'm going to roll with it. Let's do it. So that's what I did.
In preparing for this, well, let's start with family, friends, work. Let's start with your family. How receptive were they with this notion to initiate it and for you to go through and the tests, all that stuff, and then get the call that, "Hey, we've got you lined up in a few weeks"? What was the reaction from your family?
You know what? It's so funny that you say that because my family, they know who I am. They know I am spontaneous. When I was 19, I left college, and I said, "Hey," I came home. It was 2 weeks later. I said, "Hey, I'm. By the way, I just got a job at Mount Rushmore. I'm gonna go ahead and roll out there. I'm gonna be a tour guide." That's just the way I am, and I traveled for 2 years after that. I just traveled around the United States. And my family, when I told them, I said, "Hey, by the way, I just I signed up for this television show. It's called Naked and Afraid. It's on Discovery. I don't know if you ever heard of it before. But, yeah, they want me to go ahead and do that. So I'll be gone for 40 days. Can you come watch my kid?" They're like, "Okay." That's our Christina. So they had no problem with it at all.
What about your closest friends? What were some of your...
My closest friends, they were like, "You know what? It's Christina." People know me. When people get to know me, they know who I am and what I'm about. Is that I live every day like it's my last. I literally live every day. I woke up this morning, beautiful sunset. I dropped my daughter off at school. I get on Bardstown Road. I work at a law firm downtown, and I'm driving down Bardstown Road, and I stop in at Starbucks and I grab a mocha, and I'm eating a blueberry muffin, and there's this homeless guy sitting on the side, and I'm just like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy him breakfast." And his name was Sam, and it was awesome because I went out and I sat with him, and we shared breakfast, and that's just who I am. I am living in the moment, and it's like,
it's cool.
If people cannot accept and enjoy every day that that they're breathing, that they're healthy, that they're living in this world, then it's a shame. But that's who I am, and that's how I have lived my whole life, even as a child. Even when I was 10 years old and I had no electricity, and I was running around that one-room house because my dad bought me a puppy, and my puppy was chasing me, and the puppy would keep on running around the house, but I would hide against the wall because he wouldn't see me. That was the best moment of my life, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's just how I lived.
I'm going to digress here. I'm going to share a quick story just to throw it out along the lines of what you said.
Please do.
Me and my daughter were out for lunch one day. A guy at the next table, him and his buddy are there, and we noticed something weird going on. It turns out the guy's having a crazy seizure. We both went over there and consoled him, and my daughter knew what to do, so she's the 20-year-old. She's helping him and keeping him on his side, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, it turned out good. The people were very nice and appreciative of how we acted and what we did. And the friend of the guy, his words, "We're sorry about this. You guys didn't have to do all this." And, you know, my first reaction immediately was like, you know, yes, we do. Yes, you know, we felt like if we all took the time to help somebody for a few minutes, this whole world would be so much fucking better. All right, that's my soapbox.
Oh,
back to your story.
That is fantastic, by the way.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
Okay, what about work? You have to tell work you're going to be off for, you said 40 days?
I knew I was going to be off like at least 30 days. So I worked at UPS. I was a supervisor. And, you know, September when they called me and said, hey, you're going to be leaving in October. So I told UPS, I said, hey, I need a leave of absence for 30 days. Granted that I started UPS 2.5 years before that, I had 5 promotions because I am a go-getter. I don't settle for nothing. They said, sorry, we're not going to give you a leave of absence. And I said, well, I give my 2 weeks notice. Because, you know, it's an opportunity. Not that it was on television, because I could give a fuck about television. You know what I mean? It's because of the adventure. It's an adventure of a lifetime. I knew it would be a life-changing experience. I knew that would be something I would experience that I could never get back. So I gave them my 2 weeks notice. When I come back, I'll either get my job back or I'll get another job. I ran 2 corporations for 13 years, have a great resume. I never graduated from college. So people out there that think they have to go to college to do all these big things, that is so not true, because I started working for a law firm in January and as a legal assistant, and I've been promoted to a paralegal within 2 months.
Good for you.
Do not have to have a college degree to accomplish things. You just have to have the strive, the go.
Commitment.
You have to have the go.
Yeah.
Exactly. The go-get attitude.
Did they tell you the location, or did you have options? How did that work out?
No. So when you sign up, when you go online, they go, pick 4 places that you would want to go. There's not that many options. You either go to a jungle, desert, beach.
Oh, so it was that vague. They didn't have a specific.
Exactly. You pick 4 places. Okay. And then once you do your interview, because when you go to LA, they kind of like get to know you a little better, and they kind of like fill you out of what you can do, what you know, and then they place you where they want to place you, pretty much. I think it said pick the top 2, and I said either jungle or beach. I'm not certain, though.
You wound up in the jungle. This is where I'll cue Guns N' Roses' Welcome to the Jungle. Welcome to the jungle. You're in the jungle, baby. So you meet Steve, your survivalist partner.
Yes.
That first meeting, you're seeing a naked dude walking towards you. What was your real thoughts at that moment?
When I flew into Mexico, it took us 8 hours to get to our hotel, to where we were staying. But then they divided us for 7 or 8 days because they couldn't get their equipment across the border. They had to have like this contract with LA. Was like, had this, I don't know, it's like a production thing. So we actually got to spend more time at the hotel than we were supposed to. We were actually staying there. We were only supposed to stay there like 1 or 2 days and then go to the jungle. Welcome to the jungle. But we actually got to stay there like 8 or 9 days because they couldn't get their shit straight. So they kept trying, you know, they kept making sure that we were avoiding each other. We couldn't meet each other until the day of filming for, you know, the show. So I was very excited to meet this guy because I'm like, we were staying in the same hotel. I'm like, I wonder if I've seen him. I wonder if I've passed him. You know, I'm excited because I'm like, you know, this person I'm going to spend 21 days with somewhere that we have to survive. And I wasn't even thinking about being naked with him at all. But the day that I did meet him, honestly, and I am a huge pervert. When I met him, I looked into his eyes and I'm like, hey, what's up? And he actually said a joke. I don't remember what it was, but he said something like really funny, and I started laughing. And of course I looked at his dick, which was like moments later. That was because, you know, he's naked, and of course I know he's checking me out. When I seen him, I was like, hey, what's up? And he said something funny, and I was like, oh, I like this guy. He's got a sense of humor, and that was my first thought. It wasn't like, oh, look at his cock, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
I'll take
I don't know if I can say. I don't know if I can say cock, but
I'm totally fine.
So this is not live anyway, so you can edit that.
No.
So I looked at his dick and I was like, oh, you know, whatever. But that was like the last thing on my mind. It was like, I mean, I got to spend 21 days with him, and I already knew there's going to be, you know, less food. We're going to have a hard time, like, getting camp up. We're going to have a hard time, you know, there's going to be bugs. It's going to be really miserable, and I just was hoping that he would have, like, a good sense of humor. They portrayed me as a whiny bitch on the show, and I know this. And it's all good.
I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you said it.
It's all good. Let me tell you, the thing about it is I literally, 21 days out of 20 nights, I literally bitched maybe 10 to 15 minutes a night. And I'm talking like sitting by a fire for 14 hours, because it was dark for 14 hours. And I'm talking like bitching maybe at 12 o'clock going, ow, that hurts. Ow, that fucking sucks. 4 in the morning. It wasn't the mosquitoes. It was the fucking fleas. The jungle has fleas. The fleas come up, they bite you. It's like they insert acid. That's what I did, and they put it together to make me look like I had bitched the whole time. They didn't show the cool things like, how did we get our fire started? Okay, I climbed a tree to get a bird's nest to collect, to burn, to start our fire. That's how we started our fire.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing you climb a tree.
Exactly. They didn't show that. They showed that we couldn't get our fire started the first night. The second night, they showed us getting our fire started. How did we do that? Is because I climbed a motherfucking tree and got a bird's nest. That had eggs in it that we ate, by the way. So we started a fire. They didn't also show that I made a golf club. I made a fucking putt-putt course, because I'm a huge golfer.
Yeah, they didn't show that.
No, they didn't show that.
So
they
cool.
didn't. I know, right? That would have been the coolest thing ever. They didn't show that I found a stick and I whittled, and I fucking took a machete and whittled a flute, because I play flute. I whittled a flute. I whittled a spoon. I weaved a wall out of fucking palm leaves. I weaved baskets. They didn't show any of this cool shit, man. They didn't show any of the fun stuff. So I'm hoping on Bears All, because they usually do that after, like, all the episodes. They're going to show all this fun stuff, because if they don't, I'm going to be like, look, I need that tape so I can show people what I really fucking did there for 21 days. Because every day I did something new. Every day I was making something new. And every night I might have bitched for maybe 30 minutes, maybe. But not only was I bitching, so was he. And during the day, so was the whole fucking crew. But they made me look like I was a pussy. And I'm not at all. Trust me.
At all. The last thing I'd
Not at all.
is the P word. You bring up a good point. 21 days, 20 nights, 21 days, they condense it to about
42 minutes.
42 minutes, right, because of
40,
commercial.
it is exactly 42 minutes.
So,
and all they did was show bits and pieces of me going, ow, ow, ow. But seriously, man, I did so much cool shit while I was there. I did some of the coolest shit ever. I swam out in the middle of this river. There's like these water holes. There's these 2 water holes. I swam out in the middle of these water holes, and I just like laid there. I was like collecting, like they call them, they're trying to call them shrimp, but they were just like crawdad things. They didn't show any of that cool stuff. I was a mad woman while I was there. I made spears. I made a bunch of spears, and I even, like, put vine, like, I shot this vine on my back and put a spear on my back, and I was climbing trees, and I was trying to kill monkeys. They didn't show any of that cool stuff. I was trying to kill a fucking monkey. One night, we had a shelter, and there was a boar. There was like a pig, boar. And he was like making all these noises. So I took the machete and our diary cam, and I went out, and I'm trying to entice this boar to come toward me so I can jump on his back and slit his throat because I was so hungry. And you can hear my partner going, get in the shelter. You're going to get killed. I can't believe you're doing this. I'm like, I want some meat. And they didn't show that. That would have been the coolest thing ever. Of course, he never did come, but, you know, I was enticing him, and I was like a mad woman. I was, like, grunting, and I was, like, doing all this cool stuff. So, anyway.
For the record, just so I can – this is an exclusive. I get the exclusive, and no one else does.
Yes.
What were the sounds you were making to get that attention?
I was like, come on, motherfucker. You know what? I can't remember.
Well, you had to make a sound like a squeal
I was just like, I don't remember what I was doing. I was kind of like grunting, like kind of like that, but it was more deep. I'm sure it was like, come on, motherfucker, you know, something like that.
You get there, and here's one thing I've read. Each of you get to bring a survival tool, gear. What did you have?
Okay, so what happens is when they get afraid, they allow you to bring 4 items, and then they choose what they want you to bring. So, of course, I brought 2 badass machetes, a fire starter, and a pot. They chose a fire starter for me. Then, of course, my partner had, I think it was the pot or the machete, either one. I think it was the pot.
Yeah, he had a pot.
And then we got a third item, which was the machete. So
now, how did y'all get 3? Because it advertised.
I think that they start, like, this season, they started doing, like, 3 items.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, but I think we were in such a really bad place because they were just like, you fucking need 3 items.
Jeez.
Because, I mean, we really were in a fucking, it was miserable. Where we were was absolutely miserable. The thing about it is, like, we built this huge shelter, right? And within a week, I'm like, it rained every day. So we were knee-deep in mud to our ankles. Like, it was above our ankles. So people keep asking me, like, why didn't you build shoes? Because I'm a hunter. And I'm like, you know, I couldn't hunt because of the thorns and because a lot of the trees were poisonous because of acid that they would literally, if you touch them, your skin would melt off. So I did try to go hunting. I set up many traps, but I try to go hunting. And when I try to go hunting, I got a thorn in my foot one day that it took the medic 25 to 30 minutes to get out because it was so deep in my foot. And I was screaming so loud. Like, it was the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. And I've had a child. It was horrible. So people were like, why didn't you build shoes? I couldn't build shoes because it rained every fucking day while I was there. It rained every day. I mean, the mud would have sucked our shoes off completely. Like, there would be no hope for it.
You get to a point. You are seriously thinking this was it for you, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What day was that? Ready to wave the flag?
Okay, so it was about 14, 15 days in, and I was like, I'm done. Can't do it. After not eating for 10 days, all I was thinking about was just like, okay, I can tap out. I can go get a meal. I didn't care about showering. I didn't care about any of that bullshit. I just wanted a meal. I just wanted food. Then I realized, you know what? I signed up for this, and why bullshit around? I got to finish it. I talked myself into keep going, and then it was about the 17th or 18th day, and I knew that I was only going to go for 21 days, but the 18th day, the hunger pains, I thought I knew what, like, hunger was because of growing up poor and not having food and certain things like that. Seriously, never have felt hunger pains like I did while I was there. It was like the 18th day, and I was like, I'm done. I'm camping out. I'm out. I realized that it took, like, at least 30 minutes to an hour for me to just sit and think about it, say, look, okay, you've only got, like, 3 or 4 days left. Just keep on going, keep on going. But it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And I've done some crazy and wild things in my life, but that was the toughest decision in my life because I knew that if I tapped out, I could go get a meal and I would be fine, you know?
Yeah. How much of that was your partner helping you?
My partner did not. I mean, my partner was encouraging, but my partner did not make my decision for me. Okay. He was not like, you're going to stay, blah, blah, blah. He was encouraging as far as, like, when I was saying I'm tapping out. The only thing he said was, Christina, look, if the tables were turned, would you want to spend the next 4 days, to 5 days, whatever it was, by yourself in this jungle? You know where you are! You're in the jungle! At nighttime, it was scary. I mean, it was scary. I mean, I had tarantulas. I mean, I literally got stung by a scorpion.
Ugh.
I mean, it stung me. It was a very small one, but it stung me. And he was like, how would you feel if you had to stay here? And you know what? When I looked at my partner, I said, look, I'm not going to leave you by yourself. Like, if it wasn't for him, I would have probably tapped out. Only because I want to help others before I help myself. And when he was like, he's like, look, just don't leave me, because he's like, I can't do this without you. And when he said that, I was like, I got to keep going. I have to do it.
Did that all of a sudden turn from naked and afraid to like a Hallmark moment? It sounds like a Hallmark moment when he's like, I can't do this without you.
No, but you know what? That motherfucker used to work at Disney, and he would actually sing me Disney songs that would calm me down a little bit. So he would literally, like, I remember like 2 weeks in, he was singing like Aladdin. He was like, blah, 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 or something. I was like, oh, okay, I feel so much better.
He actually came across as a pretty good guy.
He is really a genuine good guy. But as far as survival and survival skills, nada. But he's a great guy.
You all had some moments. There was some conversation you were giving him where they had to bleep.
See, Kevin, that's what I'm saying. They do that. The editing team makes it look that way.
Just tell me, did they have to edit out these words? Did you ever utter out the words, go ahead and scream, we're miles away from anyone? Did you ever say those words?
No, I never said those.
Okay.
But I did say, fuck you. If I found a boar, if I would kill a pig right now, I'd be balls deep in that motherfucker because I'm so hungry. And kiss my ass, I said that many, many times. So
there you go. Have you been able to do any interviews this freely?
Not at all.
Okay,
and I have done several radio interviews, but no, not at all. I love it. I absolutely love it.
This is my first R-rated show, so thank you. I appreciate that. Prize. You do the 21 days, and I thought I read that you actually get some type of compensation. How did that all work?
How that works is they do compensate you. I mean, you're leaving your job for, a month. If you think about it, 21 days, but you have to travel the day before, the days before, the days after. So you do get compensated. But that's pretty much it. You don't win a prize. Everybody asks me, like, do you win a prize? No. You do it for a self-challenge. Can you do this or not? And like I said, the only reason I did it is because I signed up. I had no idea they were going to call me. They did call me. They liked me, and I just rolled with it. Okay, fuck it. What's the worst going to happen? I go do this, whatever. It's another adventure in my life, and I love adventures. But, yeah, they do compensate you. They do, pay you for the time that you were there. But that's it. Nothing else. People think that you're going to be on the show, you're going to do huge things, big things. And I'm like, that's all it is. I do have things in the works right now that are going to be amazing, but I can't speak of them. But
that's a result of this adventure.
Yeah, it is the result of being on the show or, whatever, paid for the time that you're gone. But it's not, like, huge. Like, people think that I'm, getting, like, hundreds and thousands of dollars. And I'm like, really, no. It's a TV. It's a reality TV show. Come on, people.
Yeah. Some pride, a sense of accomplishment for you, obviously.
It is, of course, because you know what, my daughter, I have a 16-year-old daughter. She just turned 16, and when she watched the show the night that it aired, my daughter was in tears because she didn't realize. She heard my stories when I came back home. She saw that I'd lost like 30+ pounds, but she didn't realize the actual torment, how hard that I had it and the life-changing experience that it had taken for me to show like my feelings, and she cried, and it's been a great thing for us. it's really, really been a life-changing experience. And if anything, I've gained so much perspective and so much positive from it. It's been a really good thing.
Now that you've been back, you've got a little celebrity status. How is that working out? Has there been any times when some fan or somebody who's watched it has reached out to you, acted goofy, weird, or what's some of the crazy things that you've experienced since it's ended?
Well, since I'm very open-minded, nothing. I love it all. Send me a weird message, and I'm like, okay.
No one has anybody sent you a weird message?
Well, of course. I mean, there's people that send me weird messages. To the normal person, that's probably weird, but to me, I'm just like, oh, it's just a normal question or compliment. Yeah, absolutely. So I don't see it that way. I think we're all different, and I accept it. I don't see it that way at all. I have gotten some like friend requests and some messages. A lot of them have been so positive and like, you're awesome. I love that you are the way you are. And it's been really good because I am a different species and I'm very weird and I like that. And I don't give a fuck. You know what? It's like the badger.
For you.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. I don't know if you've ever seen that little episode of the badger, the little video, the badger.
No.
Kevin, you could totally check that out.
I'll do that. I will. A survivalist, someone who's going to be on the show down the road, what would be some advice you'd give somebody?
Someone was going to be on the show down the road. Some advice I would give them is fucking have a blast and enjoy every minute of it and do your best. That's it. I wouldn't say anything else but have a good time and enjoy it because you're going into something that is a reality TV show. You have to make it what it is, your own. You cannot go on and go, oh, I'm going to go do this and expect blah, blah, blah. You have to go and enjoy every day. And that's what I did. I went into the jungle. And I enjoyed every day, even though I was starving. There was literally 17, 18 day when I was starving. I remember sitting on a rock. There's this huge rock, and it was overlooking one of the water hose that we had. And I was like, what a beautiful day. The wind was blowing. It felt great. I was naked, so my vagina was like getting air. It was awesome.
Speaking of air and vaginas, at one point, were you all like reeking of odor? Obviously, you're in the jungle.
No. My producer and my cameraman, they have done 25 plus Naked and Afraid shows. They told me, they're like, you are the first person that has never, ever stunk. I don't have an odor. Like, I went 21 days without an odor. Swear to God, you can call my producer. Not even joking. But they were like, you do not stink. I have no idea what's going on, but you don't smell. My partner stunk like the fourth day. But they're just like, Christina, it's going on 19 days. What's up? And I'm just like, I don't know.
Fresh. Maintain that freshness.
I have an amazing body odor, apparently.
Apparently. Do you keep in touch with Steve?
I do, yes. He's like my brother. I mean, seriously, like the second day that we were together, I mean, we're surviving for 21 days. He's like my brother. We still keep in touch. I want to know how he's doing, how his family's doing, how his life is going. And so, yeah, we don't talk daily, but, it's like a couple times a month. It's like, hey, how's it going? I hope everything's going great. You look good. That's pretty much about it. So.
Okay, I'm going to wind this down, the last segment of the show where we call it's our round of shots, and I'm going to throw 12 topics at you. I want one-word answers. This is to kind of get to know Christina a little more.
Okay, this would be fun.
Right now, if someone grabbed your iPod or music media, whatever you listen to music on, what would be the song playing at this very moment?
Metallica.
I hear you. I'd do it. Number 2, your first concert.
Metallica.
Lord, was that the Black Album, or is that how far back? When was that?
It was 1996.
96?
So,
okay,
yeah, 96. I can't even remember, but it was awesome. And I've always gotten backstage passes to when I go to Metallica.
Number 3, favorite movie.
Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase. Okay.
hmm
4, favorite food.
I would have to say spaghetti and meatballs.
And meatballs. Don't leave out meatballs. Number 5, favorite drink.
Favorite drink would be, to this day, Fireball.
6, your favorite hobby.
Flying planes.
Do you fly?
Yes.
You really do? Wow.
I've got like 10 hours until I get my pilot's license.
Good Lord.
It's going to be awesome.
Wow. 7, UK or U of L?
U of L. All the way to the card. I already knew you were going to say that.
Suck.
And I grew up in Eastern Kentucky, too. All my family thinks that, too.
I was going to say. No loyalty. 8, this one's kind of important. What is that tattoo that's close to your yoo-hoo?
It's a dagger.
I don't know if they ever explained that on the show, or I don't recall, but it was...
No, it's a dagger. It's a dagger, so it's a knife. I'm into the knife. I carry at least 2 to 3 knives on me daily. I actually pulled a knife today because I had a guy that was aggressive behind me, and I had to call 911. No shit, Kevin, like this actually happened. And I called 911, and I had to pull my knife on him.
We're talking like when you say behind you, as in like road rage kind of thing?
Yeah,
Car?
yeah. Like he was
not like in the Kroger.
No, he was like driving his vehicle. He actually ran this old lady off the road, and when he did, he was behind her, and she stopped. When he stopped, when she got out, she was poor, helpless old lady, so I stopped and got my knife out, and my daughter was in the car, and I told her to lock the doors, and I walked up to this situation, and I pulled my knife. I am a nice person. I will cut you, motherfucker.
You're going to shank somebody.
Yes, I am.
9, what is your guilty pleasure?
Oh, my God. I have so many.
All right, tonight, you and your boyfriend, what's the guilty pleasure? I'm kidding. No, you don't.
Well, I mean, I don't know what that question is.
It's like, yeah, whatever. I mean, is it watching your favorite TV show on a Sunday, or it could be anything?
I don't know. I masturbate a lot. That's a guilty pleasure, right?
Yeah.
Well,
I asked you.
At least like 20 times a day, at least.
How many?
At least 20.
You're shitting me. 20 times a day?
Yeah, at least.
10. If you had access to a time machine, where in the past would you go?
I would hang out with Marilyn Monroe in the days that she was just like partying up. That's where I'd go.
11. I don't know your daughter's name, but your daughter. What would one word describe your daughter?
Oh my God, one word to describe my daughter. That's like the hardest thing ever. Amazing. I mean, the most brilliant, wonderful daughter. She's the best sense of humor. She's so chill. She's amazing. She is the greatest kid ever. I couldn't ask for a better child.
How much of your personality does she have?
She has a sense of humor, which is awesome.
Good. Yeah, that's good. All right.
She's very conservative, and I'm so not conservative.
Yeah, I've got that. And number 12, last one, just one word, Christina McQueen.
Crazy.
I'm going to add a 13. What would your boyfriend say about you? One word. And if he's right there, just hand him the phone and let him say it.
Okay.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
How are you, sir?
I'm doing well.
Thank you for your all's time. I appreciate Christina spending some time with me tonight. I'm asking her these one-word questions. The last question I asked was for her to describe herself. And I said, okay, I want to add one more. What would the boyfriend, what's the one word to describe Christina?
And then she threw the phone off to me.
yeah. He's like, let's get it straight from him.
Well, then that would be me telling you what I would say, which I could do that. I could say that.
Exactly.
Okay, so in one word.
In one word.
Spectacular. I don't know how to describe her in one word, because when you say that, like, millions of words come to mind, and all of them are positive.
That's good.
She's the greatest thing on earth.
Is she right there?
She is right here.
I asked her, one question was, what was her guilty pleasure? And it was a very open question, which guilty pleasure could be drinking a bottle of wine or something. Did you catch what her response was?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm very aware of it.
And so you can confirm that answer.
Yeah, I can confirm. And I even tend to interrupt from time to time.
God love you.
We've got a great relationship, Kevin.
Lucky guy. He's fun. So
yeah, we got you stumbling for words.
Yeah. All right. Well, no, sir, I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me tonight.
Absolutely,
I heard
buddy.
you all were at Kingfish. Is that what I heard?
We were trying to do bike night, but apparently there was only like 6 other motorcyclists that aren't scared of the rain. So,
I heard that. There you go.
We are the bike night at Kingfish this Wednesday.
There you go.
Here she is back, man. It's good to talk to you. Thank you.
You too. Awesome. I appreciate you taking the time out for me.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night.
Thanks for listening to tonight's show. That was Christina McQueen, Survivalist, on Discovery's Naked and Afraid, an archive show from May 2015. Some quick show plugs. Social media, you can find us on Twitter at The Shooting Lip, my Twitter at KevinHale423, Russ's Twitter at RealityRuss, Greg Unthank's Twitter at Greg_Unthank, and Tiffany Mack is at TiffanyMack_ET. Again, Monday nights, Lip Service, Wednesday nights, Shooting Stars, Friday nights, the KT Unearthly Show. All of our shows are on blogtalkradio.com/shootingfromthelip. You can like or follow us on Facebook and Instagram. You can also subscribe to our shows on iTunes and YouTube. Peace out.
At no time were any animals or people hurt during this presentation of Shooting from the Lip.